First, I want to say I humbly apologize for taking so long to get this out to everyone. Like I said, I am unbelievably absent-minded. I can't tell you how many times I go to the kitchen to get something and stand there and completely forgot what I was going in there for. Even if I was going in there to cook myself some lunch, I even forget that I was hungry, and then I go about doing something else if I don't get to do something right away. So let me introduce the card game to you, and for right now, just for right now, it's obviously a little bit more geared towards kind of fifth grade with this first quarter of vocabulary being in here, and at least for me, first quarter. And in the first quarter, we teach ecosystems, and so you'll notice as we go along, a lot of these cards are themed towards ecosystem, carrying capacity, carnivore, aquatic, adaptations, and you kind of go on. And I have cards for each different word, a vocabulary word that it becomes important to us as the semester goes on or the quarter goes on. And I have all of our vocabulary words on these cards, at least the ones that I consider like our essential vocabulary words. And we'll kind of get into how this works and how to play it in just a few seconds. You'll notice once I get into here, there's some very special cards, although these did not copy over as well as I would want them to. I have three different classes. I teach science and social studies. My compatriot, she teaches ELA, and one other lady teaches math. And so we have a rotation schedule in our classes, which is a lot of fun for me, where I can hang out and do science all day and social studies as well. My quote-unquote classroom theme is Bob Ross. There should be a picture of Bob Ross here. I'm not too sure why that didn't copy over. They just finished the one and only Ivan in ELA. And our new math teacher this year, she graduated from Appalachian State. These are special cards. You do not have to have any of these. They don't necessarily have to be there to do anything. And you can see, you can read down here what they do. And these cards are only given to the kids who get like the student of the week. One of the prizes for being the student of the week is they get a card to go along with that as well. So you can kind of ignore these, and you can tailor those to be whatever works for your class as well. Our guidance counselor comes in once a month, and she typically plays a game at the end of it, and she gives out prizes. And so as opposed to having slap bracelets and silly things that kids play with in class, I've given her these cards for our fifth graders, and this is tailored towards, obviously, Mrs. Alexander, and it has a very special thing that it does down here as well. Deflect damage, and you get +3 to life, because that's kind of what guidance counselors do. And again, you're welcome to modify that one, take it away, whatever you want to do. And as we scroll on down here, if you haven't played the game Blukit, to review vocabulary, I highly recommend it. My kids beg to play that. It is one of the things that I would definitely contributes to our growth in vocabulary this year is the game Blukit. Very easy to set up. There's a lot of tutorials out there as well. You can feel free to reach out to me if you want to learn a little bit more about it. I can help you out. But it is a lot of fun. Very easy to set up. It works very well and partners up very well with Quizlet. If you have any old Quizlet accounts and vocabulary words in there, getting your words into Blukit can take less than 5 minutes if you do it the right way. And again, Blukit will walk you through how to do that as well, which is pretty nice. So my quote-unquote winners of the Blukit review games in class are going to get one of these cards as one of their prizes. Again, you can keep those. You can delete those if you want to. And here are some blank basic cards. You'll notice they don't have a picture, they don't have a definition, they don't have a power or a toughness, and nothing down here. We'll get into how that works here in just a few moments as well. Scrolling on down, I do a lot with Pear Deck in the classroom as well, and when I have the Pear Deck student of the day from each class, they're going to get a instant Pear Deck card. Again, I try to incorporate these cards into all the stuff that we do just to keep the kids interested and keep them engaged and to keep them in the back of their head. One thing that I'm working on, and there's an awesome website out there called Pixton, Pixton. It's free to sign up for, and you can make your own comics. I went through and I took all of my students so far. I have their faces in here, and here pretty soon, probably around the Christmas time, one of the things they'll get from me is a very special card that is their very own, and I'm going to tailor what the card's special power is to that unique student. If I have a student in class that's very fast at recess, I might say that they get to move very quickly and play 2 cards at one time. If I have a student that's very, very caring, I might say that they can play that card and add to their life total. I'm just going to have to go through that on my own. Again, it did not take me very long to set that up at all. And again, if you need to know how to do that or you want to learn more about Pixton, just send me another email. I'll be happy to help you out on that. But Pixton's been very, very popular with my students this year. And I've seen a lot of growth in their writing skills, which transitions over to ELA from some of the things we've done in social studies and science. But we'll scroll back up here to these cards here, and then we'll come back to those blank basic cards after a while. This is what I would consider your starter deck. You're going to print off all of these cards, and I did not print them in color. I printed mine in black and white, and it's the starter deck. So every kid's going to have the exact same cards on the starter deck, and when you start to play the game, it's going to be very similar to something like this. So every kid's going to have their starter deck, and as they start to do vocabulary, some cards of their own. And there's two very important things on the card, aside from the vocabulary word, a picture of the vocabulary word, and then this blank space down here, the reason why it's not filled in on any of my cards, the kids have to write the definition of omnivore here, of tropical rainforest here. And that's something that we do in class that, again, helps reinforce those vocabulary words, which then in turn helps us have a little bit higher scores on benchmarks and EOGs when they have a higher understanding of vocabulary. And so they have all of their cards. They shuffle their deck of cards, and it depends on how many kids you have playing. That doesn't really matter. You can tailor that, but it's usually just 2 on 2 in my room. You shuffle all your cards. You put them face down. On the back side of every card, you need to have the students' names because inevitably they're going to lose their cards, and you need to have the vocabulary word, and that's it. Down here's the definition. So the kids shuffle their cards up. They put them face down. They draw 7 cards, and they're holding them in their hand. And there's 2 phases. There's attack and defense. And you can roll a dice to see who attacks first. You can say who got the greatest score on the last quiz to see who attacks first. Somehow, some way, determine who's going to attack first. So if this person here is deciding that they are going to attack, if they attack, this is their attack power, a 1. If they're defending, this is their defending power. You obviously want to play as high of an attack power as possible. Each person starts off, again, depending on how much time you give them in class, with 20 total life points, 5 total life points. That part really just determined by how much time you have. So if you have, and sorry, I'm doing this on my mouse, so it's going to be very messy. So if you have player 1 and you have player 2, and we'll just do a game where it is they have 10 life points. And just kind of jot this on a scrap piece of paper. You can give them a sticky note, anything that you need to do so they can keep track of their score. Some of mine just write it in their notebook on the same page every time they play a game. So it's attack phase. Whoever is attacking obviously wants to attack with the highest card that they have as far as power, their highest attack power. So they play their card, they put it face down, so only the word omnivore is showing. This person wants to defend with the highest defense that they have, and they put that card face down. Then they ask each other, what's the definition? So the defender has to define omnivore, and the offensive person has to define tropical rainforest, and they can tell each other if they're right or wrong. Let's assume everybody is correct right now. If this power over here happened to be a 4, and he is attacking a person with a defense of 1, that would mean that player 2 would have just lost 3 total life points. Now again, this depends on how much time you have in class. If you're going to give them a 10-minute game, you don't want to let them have like 30 or 40 life points. They won't finish the game. Now, let's say if the roles were reversed, because this might happen with depending on the cards you draw. What if this actually is still a power of 1, but this is a defense of 4? If that's the case, you just happen to play a bad attack card, that's all part of the game, then this person would have lost 3 points, and they would be down to 7 points apiece. In an instance where you are attacking someone, and let's say you're attacking with 5 points, and we'll talk about how to get those points later after you have your basic cards given out. If you're attacking with 5 points, and this person, let's just say they were even defending with 5 points, and it would have been a tie. If there's a tie, you put down 2 new cards and keep on playing until someone wins. But if the defender actually defines omnivore incorrectly, this actually turns into a 0. And then this other person over here would have actually taken 5 more points away from this person. and the exact same thing happens on the other side. Let's say they were defending with 2, you're attacking with 5. If for some reason you get it wrong and you don't define tropical rainforest correctly, well, then you would have lost 2 points yourself. So that'd be 7 minus 2, and this person would be at 5. You do that until someone gets you down to 0. Then you high-five each other and you shake hands because the game is then over. I know that we are currently in our unit on forces in motion, distance, speed, and time with the DST triangle, and we'll be doing our motion graphs as well. So obviously I'm going to be adding to the basic card set as we move on. And while I'm on here, I'm just going to go ahead and check something really quickly. I might just share a copy of this with you, and then I'll continue to add to it, and maybe just send out more copies as time goes on, because I'm not too sure why it's not adding up the way that it should, because it definitely did not copy. There's basic cards. It should just pull up with everything on there. Apologize about that. Obviously a lot of data in this. It takes a while for it to load sometimes. I just want to scroll down and see something. If it's messed up on here too, I may have to reset a few things and then send there. No, see, there's Bob Ross. He's actually showing up on this, and it just didn't copy over correctly. I'll get a better copy and I'll send it over. And as I continue to add cards in there, it should just show up in yours as well. And then you can just keep going back in through this master set and making copies of the basic cards. Now, you'll notice that a lot of cards, sometimes they show up and they are blank. I use this in my small group instruction. I find out the words that the students are struggling with the most. They come back to me, and we can usually get 2 to 3 cards done per day. I will give them the vocabulary word, and we will have a very thorough conversation about what that vocabulary word means. We will draw a picture of it together. We will write our definition down here together. And this is the fun part for the kids in the small groups, and it really gets them motivated. They have a chance to have better cards than some of the kids that are just getting your basic sets, because I give them dice to roll, or most of the time just one die, whether that is a 6-sided, an 8-sided, 12-sided, and then later on the year even a D20. They roll for power and they roll for toughness. So for them, it's not uncommon to have like a 7-5 or a 6-4, and I have seen them roll a 1-1. And that's fine. It's all part of the game, and it's fun. I do also give these blank cards to the students in class when we come across words that are challenging. I know when we just took the latest benchmark, there was a few words on there that a lot of people really struggled with. I have added those to my Tier 3 vocabulary chart. We've talked about those, and now we have written those words here. We've drawn a picture as a class. We all rolled dice to get our attack and our defense, and then we defined it down here, and that's pretty awesome. I do also allow upgrading of cards where you can get extra points to your power and toughness. My kids spend their dojo points on that in class. We do that on Fridays. I'm sure you can come up with fun and creative ways that they can get an upgrade to their cards. I just bought some like really sparkly tape at Hobby Lobby, and I ran it around the outside edges of this card to make it look very special. And if you're going to go across their definitions, then just flip the card and do it on the outside. And then I personally take my marker and I cross the things out, and I put a new number there, and I put an initial here so that everybody knows that I personally did upgrade that card, so the kids aren't just doing it on their own. I know this is a very quick, down and dirty version of how to use this. I hope that works. If there are any questions, just email me back, and I will promise you I will do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. If I forget, I promise I'll go through my emails at some point and see them, and I will get back to you then. Hope this helps. Hope you can enjoy them and have a good time, and most of all, hope the kids enjoy them and that their vocabulary knowledge grows.